this controller here. That's what it's called actually. It's a DJ controller. So I'm pretty much just gonna be like going through everything on this controller, kind of like talking about what everything does and all that stuff. So this is the Pioneer DDJ Flex 4 DJ controller. I got it like around 2 months ago. Yeah, I'm a pretty new DJ. Like, I pretty much just started. But it's a very nice controller. I like it a lot. It's been really fun to use so far. So I'm actually gonna plug it into my laptop because it has cool colors if I do that. So let's just do that really quickly. Voila. That's cool, right? Anyway, let's start with these things. What are these things, you may be asking? Well, these are called the Jog Wheels. And basically, they're mainly used for kind of nudging music into place or speeding it up or slowing it down. A major component of DJing is something called beat matching. And beat matching it's pretty simple, just kind of aligning the beats manually of two songs. And that's kind of the traditional way that DJs mix songs, because nowadays you have something called beat sync, and this controller has beat sync. It's right here and right here, and enabling beat sync on two songs just makes it incredibly easy to beat match two songs, and it's like there's no work required for that. I've been trying to beat match manually, but I do find that beat sync is pretty useful too, but it's not something that you should rely on because it doesn't always work. So we have the Jog Wheels, which is they just turn, and it's pretty cool. So usually when you're beat matching a song, you would use this and this. These are the tempo sliders, and yeah, they literally just adjust the tempo. So moving it down will speed it up, moving it up will slow it down. So when you introduce a new song to play, you kind of use these tempo sliders to nudge the song to the desired tempo, which is the tempo of the song that is currently playing, because you don't want tempos that are conflicting with each other. So then, after you use the tempo sliders, then you would use the Jog Wheels to further nudge the song into place so it's perfectly aligned, or as perfectly as possible aligned with the song that is currently playing. And again, nudging into place, you really want to use the outer edge of the Jog Wheels, because the top part of the Jog Wheels is mainly used for scratching. Like this, you load a track and you don't play, you just kind of scratch it like this. And normally when you touch the top of a Jog Wheel while the song is playing, it'll stop the song. So you gotta be careful not to accidentally stop of the jog wheels while playing the song because it will stop the song momentarily. But as soon as you release your finger, it'll play the song again. So usually in whatever TV software you use, you can disable this. It's called vinyl mode, and you can disable that, and every time you touch stop, it won't stop the music, but you can swivel the top, and it'll do the same thing as the outer edges do. So those are the jog wheels. What else do we have? I feel like I should be actually doing some ASMR here. I mean, it is an ASMR video on an ASMR channel. Anyway. Let's move on. We have these buttons here. And here. These buttons are for looping songs. Now looping is a really big component of DJing as well. A lot of DJs will loop parts in a song, and they can either like loop a drum section or vocal section or anything really, and like they usually tighten the loop, and it's usually used for like build-ups and drops. It's a very useful tool, but anyway, these are your loop controls, so you press this to start a loop, and you press this to end a loop, and then after pressing those two buttons, it creates a loop. And it's the same thing on the other side. This side is literally the same thing as this side. This part of the controller and this part, these are called the, oh my god, what are they called? I'm blanking. Well, this is the center part, is the mix console. This is where you do all your mixing, including EQing, which I'll explain what that is, but you do EQing on the mix console, and also you can increase gain, decrease volume, and everything. Why am I forgetting what these are called? I literally just had it, but anyway. This button here, this is the loop exit button, so you would press this if you want to exit a loop, and so let's say you want to create a loop, boom, you create a loop. If you want to exit the loop, you press this and exit it. If you want to either lengthen the loop or tighten it, you would use these controls here. If you touch this button here, that tightens the loop, so it makes it shorter. If you touch this one, it lengthens it and makes it longer. So those are your loop controls, and again, it's the same thing on both sides. I feel like it's easier to hold it on this side. Okay, I already went over the beat sync buttons. What else? I guess we can move on to the bottom section. So super slows down the song. And if I remember correctly, there's like 6%, 10%, and wide on this one. So that means if it's at 6%, the tempo range is like a lot shorter. So like if I go down, if I try to go faster, like it doesn't get that much faster. But like if I go to 10% or wide, it gets a lot faster if I go down. So that's what that does. And all these buttons, like they have their own secondary function, but I'm not gonna get into that. And here we have the Q button. Queuing is a bit different from play because when you hit the Q button and you hold the Q button, it plays the song, but like it only plays the song as long as you're holding the Q button. So let's say you have a song loaded onto this deck. I guess they're called decks. Deck 1, Deck 2, and the mix console. I don't know why I forgot that earlier, but anyway, if you have a song loaded into this deck and you press Q, if you press it like really short, like this, well, it's not gonna play it. It's gonna play it for like a split second, but then it's gonna stop. Like, if you hold it though, it's gonna play it until you let go of the button. So after you let go, it's gonna stop playing. I mean, queuing is useful for certain things, but like, if you really just want to play a song, obviously use the play button, which is like right below. You press it once, it plays the song. Press it again, it stops the song, pauses it. So that's pretty simple. We have all these controls down here. These are just pads that are useful for a lot of things. This section that's currently lit up, this is called the hot cue section. Hot cues are really important tools in DJing. Basically, at any point in a song, you can hit any of these pads, and it kind of saves that moment in the song, and that's called the hot cue. And you can access that moment at any time by using the pad that you save the hot cue on. So let's say I'm playing a song, and I press this pad at a certain point. That pad is gonna memorize the point in the song that is at the hot cue. So at any point I could press that pad and it's gonna bring me back to that point in the song. It's gonna automatically play it, and that's really useful. Each pad can be used for a different hot cue. So a lot of DJs will have a lot of different hot cues in one song. So like one hot cue could be like the beginning of the song. So like you press the hot cue and it immediately plays that part of the song. Or another hot cue could be like towards like at the chorus or something. Or at a drum break or anything really. And it's gonna automatically play that song. So hot cues are really, really important when DJing. And here we have the pad effects section. It's not lighting up because I don't have my DJ software open, but like pad effects is just like some useful like effects that can alter your song. So, you know, stuff like echo or reverb. One that I use a lot is final stop. So like if you press that, then it's gonna stop the song. It's gonna sound like a final spin down, which is really useful. That's a really good section to use. This one is beat jumping. It's pretty simple. Like if you press one of these, it's gonna jump ahead a certain amount of beats. On my controller, this one is, it moves back 16 beats, 16 bars, I meant. And this one moves forward 16 bars. This is this is 16, 32, and 64, but I might be wrong. So that's really useful. And the final section is the sampler control. And this basically just, you can like do stuff with sampling. I don't really use it, but a lot of DJs will use that, and it's really useful. And of course, all these sections here, they have secondary controls. I don't have everything memorized, and I can't see with this verse down, but like, from what I memorized, like, this is key shift, so if you hold shift and press this, it's gonna like give you an option to like shift the key, either pitch up or pitch down the song, which is really useful. And that's pretty much that. It's the same on the other side. And now I guess we can move on to the mix console, the mixer, whatever you really want to call it. But the main purpose of this central console is just mixing music. So you have your volume faders for Deck 1 and Deck 2. Obviously, if it's all the way down here, you're not going to hear any music. Up here, you're going to hear music. And you can slide it to kind of bring in the volume. Same thing on this side. This here is called the crossfader. It just crossfades between songs. If you have it set to this side, only this deck is going to be playing. Likewise, if you set it to this side, only this deck is going to be playing. I usually keep it on center. And when I'm introducing a new song, I'll usually just slowly fade it in. This is the smart fader button. It's kind of a really easy tool to have, like very smart kind of crossfades. If you select it and use the crossfader, it's gonna like automatically apply effects to like do a really cool smooth crossfade. I don't usually use it, but it's there if you want to play around with it. This here is the headphone level, so a lot of DJs will like wear headphones, and the headphone jack is right here, and this just controls like obviously the volume in your headphones, because honestly, like, wearing headphones is really important when DJing. You need to hear the music that you're mixing, so like, unfortunately, I can't really wear headphones, like over-ear headphones while I'm wearing Barli, but I do have earbuds, and I guess that gets the job done. But if you want to hear the music through the headphones, you need to press the Q buttons, and the Q buttons literally just let you hear the music in the headphones as well as like through whatever speakers you're using. And you can either have one cue on and the other cue on, or you can have them on at the same time. So you can hear one song at one time, you can hear the other song at one time, or you can hear both at once, so that's really useful. This is another control for the headphones, but it's a bit different than this one. I don't exactly know how. It's getting kind of hard to hold. And what else? This is the smart color effects. If you hit this and use these knobs, it's gonna automatically apply like a smart effect to the tracks. On my controller, if you have smart color effects on and use these knobs, it's gonna do a kind of noise effect, which is really useful, so I'll use that a lot, but not all the time. And speaking of effects, these are the effects, the color effects knobs, and obviously they're very useful, and you can like pre-select different effects in the DJ software that you're using. have things like noise or filter, or there's a lot of other things really, but the two main ones I use are noise, which I usually have on this side, and filter on this side. But you can switch them around and just really personalize it. I feel like this is barely even an ASMR video. Whatever. So, these are the effects knobs, and all up here we have the EQ knobs, and EQ stands for equalization. It has to do with adjusting the different frequencies in a song. I'm not gonna explain it all. If you're interested though, just look up like what EQ and equalization is and stuff like that. But these knobs on the bottom, they control the low end. So if you have it set all the way down, you're not gonna have any bass. Likewise, if you set it all the way up, you're gonna have way too much bass. So I usually keep it in the middle, and that's the right amount of bass. This is the mids, and they control the middle frequencies and the high frequencies. I usually don't even mess around with the mid frequencies. I mainly use the low frequencies and the high frequencies. And these are the trim knobs. The trim knobs mainly just refer to the volume of the individual tracks, it's also called the gain of individual tracks. I usually keep those on center or a little less than center. There's something called redlining in DJing, which is basically when the tracks you're playing are way too loud. And we have like these lights on the controller, and it'll show you if you're redlining. And if you are, you just want to bring down the trim until it's not redlining anymore. It's called redlining because the top like bar is like it becomes red, and you don't want that. It's kind of hard to explain without seeing it, but please just trust me. This knob is like, that's the mic level, so obviously you can like input a microphone at the top here, and this just controls the mic level, so that's pretty useful. And up here we have this knob controls like the DJ software that you're using, and it basically is used for like track selection. So you can like push down on this and twist it left and right, and just it's used to select tracks. And this load here and this load button here, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's used to load the track. So like, let's say you select a track and you want to load it on the deck too. You just hit load and it loads automatically. And here we have the master level, or the master gain. I usually keep it on center, but that just controls the overall volume of everything. Now, down here we have master Q. Just kind of Q, like you can hear. It has to do with headphones again. Again, I'm not completely sure, but like that's useful as well. And I'm pretty sure the only thing we have last thing would be if you press shift and this button right here, it enables another thing called release effects. And that's really useful. It's a totally different kind of effect thing. So that's basically it. I'm still kind of like learning. So I may have like mistaken something, but like that's my DJ controller. Yeah, it was quite a different video, I know, but like I still thought it would be cool to share, and I'm like a nerd, so I'm sorry if I was nerding out. I'm sorry if this really wasn't like what you were expecting. I know it's like different, but I just thought of trying something different. So yeah, that's my DJ controller. I don't know. Should I do a bit of ASMR? There's not much ASMR I could do besides tapping and like button pressing. I don't know. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this different video. Let me know if you didn't like it. Obviously, I'm not gonna get offended if you dislike the video or something. I'll know not to do like these kinds of videos in the future. Anyway, thanks for watching.